Welcome, guys. Happy Thursday. Crypto FUD. Let's jump right into it. Crow. Looks like we're going to start our journey off tonight with Crow. So, Crow had a local high of about 8.2 cents. It is currently sitting at about 7.3 cents. Little cool off period, I believe. Definitely hitting some support. Was a old resistance spot at around 7.3 cents. So I think if we're able to kind of find some support where we're at right now, the market does better because Crow does kind of go with Bitcoin and the other bigger coins. We could see somewhere around 8 cents again, retesting that spot of resistance. And like I've said previous times, you have to basically keep testing those resistance until you break them, and eventually they will break if you keep testing it. And I see the next spot of resistance will be somewhere around 9.4 cents. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that. But right now, Crow doesn't look terrible. It looks pretty good compared to where it was, just a month ago. Tonic. Tonic has been the big player around where it's just had a really good run. Like I've stated on my other Tonic videos, this looks a lot different than necessarily these other big gigapumps. I will say now that I'm looking at it, if you look at this right, this right here, and you look at this right here, they look slightly similar. I will say the only difference between this pump right here and where we're at currently is this was back in last year, July. The market was not doing good. The market was not doing good at that time. Things were getting worse by the day. So I think with the atmosphere that was in and was surrounding the whole crypto market, I think Tonic tried to make a run for it, but just could not, keep up and basically sustain, that run due to the surroundings of the whole market and everything else, all the major players. A lot of people just basically doing a sellout on everything because everything was going to zero, so they thought at that time. So that's why I think it really tried. You can see it had like another double top, but then eventually slowly bled. And then again, you saw another shoot up. This obviously was in October. This was when it was even worse. This is when Bitcoin was around it's basically its bottom. So I mean, this jumped up, but it was short lived because it was just going to be for people were able to just buy in, FOMO in, but everybody was terrified and basically sold out and it bled out. Here, it looks a little different. Looks like this is some natural. I mean, we did see a gigapump, but then we started seeing some natural just growth after the gigapump. Didn't see a big sell off, so that's great. Right now, we currently sit at around 6 pennies point two. I think right now where it's at is it's found some support at around two, and our next support, our next resistance is going to be somewhere. If it's already tested that 2-1, but that's going to be basically if you see this staircase down, it's going to need to go up this staircase again. So 2-1 is going to be some resistance. You have 2-2, 2-4, and then these are going to be the big ones, the 2-6. If it can steadily just kind of slowly trace up basically the opposite of this going down but going up, I think Tonic will make its way up and start getting towards basically to new higher local levels. So we'll keep an eye on that, but Tonic does look good. MMF, almost like the same thing. MMF had some issues, internal issues that we've already spoke about. We saw a local bottom of about 0.7 of a penny, and since then it's definitely retraced out of there. Basically came back up to where it was prior to the issues that were going on with the devs and stuff like that, and it currently sits at 1.5 pennies, basically 1.4. It did hit over 1.5, but it did get rejected. If you can see over here, right where it got rejected over here, if you go back before all this stuff happened, that's exactly where it kept getting rejected multiple times right here. So I think Right now, we're gonna have a little issue really trying to get past that 1.5 cent mark. But if it does, you can see it will shoot up, and we could probably get somewhere around 1.7 pennies, where it's had multiple spots where it's kind of tested and retested that area as far as support and resistance. So I think as time goes on, as long as we kind of are holding strong, and money's still flowing into DeFi, I think MMF is slowly going to do the opposite of what this happened. And it's going to basically form just a big term bull here. Because if you look and you see all the way down, I think we're going to have some kind of a way where it's going all the way up. Where is it going to go? We don't know. We did have major support around 5 cents. I'm not saying it's going to do that overnight. It has a big road ahead of it as far as a lot of resistance, but it definitely will eventually get to these spots, and we will be testing those spots. Not financial advice. As long as money's flowing into DeFi. Let's see here. SVN. Haven't really spoke of this, but this is really goes with MMF. Um, this has had a nice run up as well. This is a smaller cap coin or token that runs. It's basically pegged to MMF. So if MMF is running, this thing's running as well. And I've spoke about this one. This goes with the whole MMF family with MShare and MMO. All those tokens, they all run together, and all the charts are going to look very similar. MShare, same thing, had a nice run up. Nothing is big, but it did have a nice run up, and it's basically going to just follow whatever MMF is doing. Phnx Finance, it's been basically real steady. I mean, we have nice little shoot ups, but it's been really just staying at a support level at about 2 zeros 1 2. I'll take it. I'm definitely heavily invested in Phnx Finance. I believe in this project. I think it's going to be a big runner. It's new to the game, but I think they're going to bring a lot of good things to the DeFi and to Cronos and to Polygon, because it is a cross chain token, just like MMF. They are really good with their staking, and that's one thing I wanted to point out is if this thing can steadily move up, even if it's slowly move up, the staking rewards for this is great. And if you have a big chunk of money, not financial advice, you're making some good dividends every day. So as long as this thing is slowly moving up and you're making money daily, I look at it as a win. Definitely a win. And the tokenomics, the dev team behind it, I believe in it all, just like I believe in MMF and a lot of these other great projects that are on the Cronos DeFi. Other than that, I did want to point out some things. Guys, be careful out there. If you see little things, I wanted to point out there's obviously these, if you can see some of these small cap, like $3,200 liquidity with a $2,800 market cap. Be very careful with all that stuff. These have little hints of rug pulls where people will put these little amounts in and they can pull it out at any time. Even if someone just puts in a quick $100, $200, they look at it as a win, and they'll just pull all the liquidity out and just start a new token. It doesn't take much for them to start a token whatsoever. So be careful with all that stuff. I wanted to point out, like, this is new. It just popped up. This Ocean on it's on Photon Swap, and I'm not saying this is a rug pull at all. It has almost $20,000 liquidity, but what I wanted to point out is if you can see the 24-hour, it is up over 2,000%, right? I just wanted to point out this is what you're going to see when we get into a bull run. You're going to see stuff like this. And I'm talking about they're going to be legit projects, and they're going to come out and they're just going to go flying up. If you can find these projects, it's very risky because if you buy down here, this liquidity is at like $5,000, and it's very risky because usually anything under 20 grand, I tell my people, don't be very careful because it's probably 70% a chance a rug pull. So you have that 30% chance that it's actually an actual token, and that 30% could pay off so heavily. if you are to put funds that you are willing to lose because it's so risky. But I've done it plenty of times where I bought in and I was just like, for the hell of it, I put like $100 in and ended up pulling out $2,000, stuff like that, like within like a day or two. But you have to be very careful. But what I really wanted to point out is that if you see something like this where it's 2,000% up, don't FOMO into something like this because it's already up. It made a nice run. It probably will continue to run, but the chances are that a lot of people are a couple big players didn't even have to put a lot of money in down here, but they own a big chunk of this liquidity, and it's not even a rug pull, but they're going to eventually sell off because they're looking and they're already up, 1,000%. So you need to be very careful. Basically, what I'm getting to is even with any crypto, but especially with DeFi, when we start getting into the bull market and volume is shooting up $20 million, and there's like 20 of these projects popping up every week, there's going to be plenty of ample opportunity for you to get in at the right spot. So if you wake up and you see, a coin's already pumped up 700%, be careful buying in because you could be the one being left with that higher end, buying in at a high, and basically everybody's selling because they bought in at an extremely low price. And I'm talking about within hours. These things you're gonna see. I'm gonna be pointing stuff out right now. I really it's difficult right now because there's very few, and there's just not enough volume. But when this turns into a bull market, I'm going to be showing you guys daily moves to where most of the time it's going to probably be too late. By the time I drop a video 20 minutes later, if you're watching the video, this thing could already pump 300%. Doesn't mean it's not going to go continue up, but you have to be very careful. So that's all I'm saying is just be very selective on what you're buying in. And if you see that it's already up like crazy, don't feel like you've missed out. You're going to have an opportunity. It might not be for a few days, it might be next month, whatever the case is, but there's always going to be another opportunity. We're going to leave it there, guys. I thank you guys so much for the support. Crypto FUD, we're here. Cronos, DeFi, small market caps, MMF, home place, Tonic, VVS, all these Phantom token, everything. This is where you're going to find your information. So you guys have a great night. If you're not subscribed, make sure you guys are subscribing so you guys can get these alerts whenever we do run into this bull market. You're getting instant alerts on what plays we're going to be making. Again, I thank you guys so much. Tomorrow's Friday. We got the weekend ahead of us. Let's do it.